We have 30 insane geography facts about Botswana. I'm gonna pronounce it right, guys. Botswana, that you never knew. Let's go ahead and check this one out together, man. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a like on this one. Let's get right into it.
Back in the early 2000s,
Links to
much
this
of the
vid will be in
world
the
expected
description.
Botswana to fail. 1 in 4 adults facing a deadly epidemic, a nation many expected to collapse. But instead, it did the opposite. And today, it's a story the rest of Africa looks up to. But that comeback is just the beginning. Here are 30 facts that'll change how you see this place. Starting off from fact 30, let's open with the big one. In August 2024, a mining crew in Botswana pulled a single diamond out of the Kalahari mine that weighed 2,492 carats. That's about half a kilogram of pure diamond, roughly the size of a human palm.
Hey fam, I don't know if I ever pull something like that. I can't tell nobody, dog. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? What y'all doing if y'all find that diamond, bro?
The second largest diamond ever found anywhere on Earth, and the biggest since the famous Cullinan back in 1905. Fact 29. Do you see the reverse tree-like structure on the map? That's the strangest river on the planet. The Okavango flows inland into the Kalahari Desert, and then it just stops. It never reaches the sea. Instead of draining into an ocean like every river you've learned about, it spreads across the sand and vanishes into the air through evaporation, making the Okavango Delta the largest Indo-Haic inland delta in Africa. It flows to nowhere, and yet it creates one of the most alive places on Earth.
Oh, wow.
And if this surprised you, wait for the next one. Fact 28. This delta is seismically active. On the 3rd of April 2017, a powerful 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck central Botswana with its epicenter near Moyabana. It is officially recognized as the second largest earthquake in the country's recorded history. It happens because the Okavango Delta sits inside a tectonic trough formed by the Okavango Rift Zone. This zone is an active extension of Africa's massive East African rift system, meaning the Earth here is slowly pulling apart, creating fault lines. Fact 27. Botswana has more elephants than any other country on the planet, roughly 130,000 of them. And the wider conservation area it anchors holds around 228,000, the biggest population of savanna elephants left anywhere on Earth. So when you hear that elephants are all disappearing, this one country is quietly holding the largest herds left. Fact 26. You've heard of the Great Serengeti Wildebeest Crossing, but there's a migration right here that's actually longer. Around 20,000 zebras travel.
Hold on, the one that he's just talking about, that one's in Kenya, I think, right? I think the one he was just talking about was in Kenya. I think we learned about that one in the Kenya video, actually. If I'm not mistaken.
Fact 26. You've heard of the Great Serengeti Wildebeest Crossing, but there's a migration right here that's actually longer. Around 20,000 zebras travel between the Chobe River and the Nexai Pan, and GPS studies found some of them cover well over 1,000 kilometers on the full round trip. But the part that gets me is that the instinct is so strong, they'll walk straight past perfectly good water and grazing without even stopping. Something inside them says keep going.
Y'all want a little
and they
water?
listen for 1,000 kilometers.
They said it's a trap. It's a trap, y'all. They can't stop and get that water.
Fact 25. When you picture a desert, you're thinking of empty sand. But the Kalahari, which covers roughly 70% of Botswana, is a bit of a lie. Let me explain before you say anything. A lot of it gets more than 250 millimeters of rain a year, and it's carpeted in grasses, acacia trees, and scrub. It supports far more life than a true desert like the Namib ever could. Its name comes from a local word meaning the great thirst, and yet it's green enough to feed some of the densest wildlife on the continent. Fact 24. And right in the middle of that Kalahari sits the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, the second largest game reserve on Earth. It covers about 52,800 square kilometers. That's bigger than the entire country of the Netherlands. And here's the part that's hard to believe. It takes up nearly 10% of Botswana all by itself. One reserve, a tenth of an entire nation. And you could drive for a full day and never see another soul. Just golden grass running to the horizon and a sky with nothing in it but stars. Beautiful. Fact 23. Now, if you look at Botswana on a map and you'll spot a big white mark right in the middle, that's the Makgadikgadi Pans, a place that used to be an ocean, sort of. It's the dried up remains of an ancient superlake, bigger than Switzerland, that vanished thousands of years ago and left behind a vast sheet of blinding white salt. Remember in the Namibia video I said Etosha is the largest single salt pan in Africa? Still true, but Makgadikgadi is a different kind of beast. Over 30,000 square kilometers, broken into separate pans like Sua and Ntwetwe. So Etosha is the biggest single pan, and Makgadikgadi the biggest pan complex on the continent. Both champions, just in different weight classes. Fact 22. And rising out of those salt flats is something incredible. Kubu Island. Except it's not an island of water, it's an island of stone. A crescent-shaped chunk of granite, over 2 billion years old, with ancient baobab trees growing right out of it. And here's the proof it really was surrounded by water once. Its slopes are lined with fossilized beaches of wave-rounded pebbles, and many of the rocks are stained white, coated in fossilized bird droppings.
It do look like a dried-up ocean, though. Definitely right here. Hold on, go back.
Surrounded by water once, its slopes are lined with fossilized beaches of wave-rounded pebbles, and many of
it do look like a dry, like there was definitely a lot of water right there, bruh. It definitely like a dried up ocean.
The rocks are
look at the rocks. Look at the lines on the rocks.
Stained white, coated in fossilized bird droppings from back when this was a living lakeshore. Fact 21. Botswana's money is basically a weather report. The currency is called the pula, and it literally means rain in Setswana. But why rain? Because
I'll make it rain. Okay, I had to, y'all. I had to. I'll make it rain. I'll make it rain. I'll make it rain.
In a country dominated by the Kalahari, water is so precious that the very same word also means blessing. Fact 20. There's a place in the northwest called Sodilo Hills, and people nickname it the Louvre of the desert. Packed into just 10 square kilometers are more than 4,500 rock paintings across around 400 different sites. It's one of the highest concentrations of ancient rock art anywhere in the world. Fact 19. Here's a fact so recent the ink's barely dry. Botswana is so flat that for years, nobody actually knew for certain which hill was the highest point in the entire country. Two hills,
not mountains, y'all, it's hills.
Monolanong and Otse were basically tied, and the measurements couldn't tell them apart. It wasn't until a proper survey in August 2025 that they finally settled it. Monolanong Hill at 1,492 meters, winning by less than 2 meters. And yep, it took until 2025 to figure it out. That's how flat and how quiet this place is. Fact 18. Here's something most people never think about. The whole of Botswana runs on a single time zone, Central Africa Time, UTC+2, and modern Botswana has never shifted its clocks for daylight saving. The time simply never...
Hey, fun fact. It's a fun fact real quick, guys. In the US, we do not have, or actually, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I think it's confirmed that we no longer have daylight saving time. So we no longer have to push our clocks back. We're going to stay on the same time the whole year. The whole year.
Changes. But the country is wide. So wide that the sun rises more than half an hour earlier on its eastern edge than out in the western Kalahari. At the height of summer, the east can already be bathed in morning light, while the far west still lies in soft gray half-light. Same country, same clock, two completely different mornings. Fact 17. This sounded fake even to me. The famous black-maned lions of the Kalahari region can go long stretches without drinking any water at all. And the desert wildlife survives partly by eating moisture-rich plants like the tsama melon just to stay hydrated. Lions that have basically learned to live in a place that shouldn't be able to support them. Fact 16. There's a valley in the central Kalahari called Deception Valley, and it's a fossil river that stopped flowing roughly 16,000 years ago. And yet, after good rains, that ancient dry riverbed springs back to life with sweet grasses, and it pulls in huge herds of oryx and springbok. Here, the land remembers water long after the water's gone.
Horns, bro.
Now, we're officially halfway, and here's a question for you. What's the only diamond ever found that's bigger than Botswana's? Let me know in the comments. Fact 15. Now, here
I would say somewhere in South Africa if I have to take a guess. That's just that's my guess, y'all. Somewhere in South Africa, bro.
Here's a strange kind of crossroads.
Put y'all's guesses, put y'all's answers in the comment section right now. What do y'all think? But I'm gonna say South Africa because they got a lot of diamond, you know what I'm saying, areas as well. And they're right there beside Botswana. Like, I don't think Namibia. I'm gonna go South Africa, bro.
Botswana sits right on top of a great continental divide, an invisible line where water has to choose its fate. Fall on one side, and you'll travel east all the way to the Indian Ocean. Fall on the other, and you'll head inland instead into the Kalahari, where you sink into the sand and vanish, never reaching any sea at all. 2 raindrops landing a few meters apart, living 2 completely different lives. Fact 14. Think about how a town usually begins slowly, over centuries, around a river or a crossroads. Now, forget all of that. In northeastern Botswana sits Soa Town, purpose-built in the 1990s for one reason only, to house the workers of a soda ash plant out on the salt pan. A whole town, conjured out of the desert for a chemical. And it's not alone. Orapa, Jwaneng, Soa, Selebi Pikwe, these are instant towns. They exist because a mine or a plant was dropped in the wilderness, and a settlement was built around it, almost overnight. Fact 13. Before the Okavango spills into its famous delta, it runs down a long, narrow channel called the Panhandle, a deep, papyrus-lined river hemmed between 2 fault lines. And here's what surprises people. In a country we picture as pure desert, this strip is lined with fishing villages like Shakawe and Saranga, where people pole through the water in dugout canoes called makoro and cast their nets to live. A whole river culture, thriving right on the edge of the Kalahari.
Fact 12. Botswana's national bird is one of the heaviest flying birds in the entire world. The Kori bustard. The males can weigh well over 10 kilograms. Some tip past 8.
Damn, all the weight is in the neck. Y'all see how? Bruh. That bird neck is thick.
18. That's so heavy it's brushing right up against the physical limit of what a bird can even lift into the air. Any heavier, and it simply couldn't fly at all. And because it's so heavy, it hardly ever flies. It spends most of its life walking on the ground, taking to the sky only when it really has to. Fact 11. Look at where people actually live in Botswana, and you'll notice something odd. Almost the entire country lines up along one thin thread down the eastern edge. A single railway running through Lobatse, Gaborone, Mahalapye, Palapye, and Francistown strings nearly all of Botswana's major towns together like beads on a string. Step west of that line, and the country empties out fast into Kalahari sand. A whole nation living along one slender ribbon. Fact 10.
The whole left side was empty, y'all.
You've seen it on every world map, that dotted line about a third of the way up, the Tropic of Capricorn. Most people never imagine they'll actually touch it, but it runs clean across Botswana. Drive the A1 highway near Mahalapye, and there's a monument marking the exact spot where you cross it. One of the planet's 5 great invisible lines, the southernmost point the sun can ever sit directly overhead. Fact 9. Botswana runs its tourism in a way almost no one else dares to. A deliberate, high-value, low-volume model. Instead of chasing huge crowds and cheap package holidays, it keeps visitor numbers low on purpose and prices high, all to protect its wilderness. A whole country turning away.
Makes sense. I bet a lot of people come there to, what is it called? Poaching, right, y'all? I bet there's a lot of people go, plus all the elephants they got.
Money
Makes
to
sense.
keep its wild places wild. It fits so perfectly that even a world treasure like Sodilo Hills, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, sees fewer than 3,000 visitors a year. They'd rather protect the place than pack it. Fact 8. Here's how much room Botswana actually has. It covers about 581,730 square kilometers, roughly the same size as France. But here's the difference. France packs in around 68 million people, but Botswana, just 2.4 million.
I mean, we could tell because the whole of France has got people. Botswana, the whole east side is empty,
That works
bruh.
out to about 4 people per square kilometer, one of the most sparsely populated countries on Earth. You really can drive for hours out here and pass more elephants than humans. Fact 7. For a country of just 2.4 million people, Botswana punches far above its weight on the world stage. Its capital, Gaborone, is the headquarters of SADC, the Southern African Development Community, a bloc of 16 nations representing more than 350 million people. So one of the region's smallest countries by population is, in effect, the diplomatic capital of all of Southern Africa. Fact 6. Now, this one isn't a core geography fact, but it's worth a mention in our list, because not every fact about a place is about its land. Some are about how the world sees it. Botswana became a global literary destination almost by accident. A book series called The #1 Ladies Detective Agency, set in the capital, Gaborone, has sold over 20 million copies in more than 40 languages. Think about that. Millions of people first heard of Botswana, its capital, its people, even its currency, the pula, not from a news report, but from a warm, gentle detective novel about a kind-hearted woman solving small mysteries. Fact 5. Here's something that sounds impossible even when you're staring right at it. Those thousands of emerald islands scattered across the Okavango Delta,
termites.
a lot of them weren't dropped there by the river. They were built from below by termites. In fact, scientists think around 70% of them started exactly this way. A colony raises a mound above the water, minerals slowly harden around it, seeds catch, palms grow, and suddenly there's a living, breathing island where there was nothing but water and a bug's construction project.
Fact 4. And here's maybe the most underrated thing about Botswana. Year after year, it ranks as one of the least corrupt countries in all of Africa, cleaner than many far larger and richer nations. On Transparency International's index, it scores 58 out of 100, placing it 41st in the world. I'm not even a citizen of Botswana, but I don't know why, I just feel proud to share this one. Maybe because it's proof that a country can do things the right way and quietly become great. Fact 3. Botswana doesn't just have diamond mines, it has the two that basically rule the entire planet. Orapa is the largest diamond mine in the world by area, pulling up more than 10 million carats a year. Its sister mine, Jwaneng, nicknamed the Prince of Mines, digs up a similar amount, but its stones are so valuable it's regarded as the richest diamond mine on Earth. Together, they've repeatedly ranked as the #1 and #2 most valuable diamond mines anywhere. The top two on the planet, both in Botswana. Fact 2. Botswana has the world's largest transfrontier conservation area, called Kaza, spanning roughly 520,000 square kilometers across 5 sovereign nations: Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. This single contiguous wilderness zone is larger than the entire country of Spain. While the land is shared internationally to allow free wildlife migration, Botswana holds the absolute largest share of the ecosystem, controlling roughly 30%, or approximately 153,660 square kilometers of the total protected area. And finally, Fact 1. In the early 2000s, Botswana faced something close to an extinction-level threat. Around 1 in 4 adults was living with HIV, one of the worst epidemics on Earth. Much of the world quietly expected the country to buckle. Instead, in 2002, Botswana became the first nation in sub-Saharan Africa to offer free HIV treatment to every citizen who needed it. A public health leap ahead of countries far wealthier than itself. And the president who led that fight, Festus Mogae, was later awarded the Mo Ibrahim Prize for Good African Governance.
Shout out Festus,
a prize so
man.
demanding that in most years, the committee decides no leader on the whole continent has earned it. I'm getting goosebumps reading this. He earned it for refusing to let his people down.
Come on
And
now.
that, right there, is Botswana, a country the world once counted out that answered quietly, did things the right way, and became great on its own terms. Vanishing rivers, record diamonds, the biggest elephant herds left on Earth. But strip all that away, and what's left is a country that simply refused to fail. Now here's a question for you. What's the heaviest bird on Earth that can still fly?
Oh,
Tell me in
that big neck one in the
the
beginning.
comments. And if this video changes how you see Botswana, share it with your loved ones. And a like really does help more than you'd think. Until next time, take
I
care.
thought he was gonna answer the question that he asked us in the beginning, y'all, about the diamond, the other place. Did he not? Did he answer? Or did he not answer it?
Bustard. The male.
The Cory bustard is the largest bird, y'all. The question was, bro, I can't find it, man. Look, if y'all find it and you answered correctly, or if I answered wrong, let me know in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like. Link to this video will be in the description. Stay tuned for next, man. Peace.